I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless midnight of racism and war that the bright daybreak of peace and brotherhood can never become a reality. I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word. These are the words of Martin Luther King Jr. These are the words that I have chosen to put my faith into. You see, today, we are seeing many of the things that people faced in what is known as the Civil Rights era. These things that are considered to be part of the past. We see oppression, we see racism, and unfortunately, we see oblivion. This past summer, I was blessed with an amazing, eye-opening experience. As many of you know, I, along with other youth from Bethel and Our Saviors, traveled down south and followed the route backwards of the Selma to Montgomery March. Now, before this trip, I thought I really understood what it used to be like back then, and how now, although there is obviously still racism, how it has changed. What I am here to talk about today is how after this trip, I have really noticed just how uneducated we are about the awful truth of racism. From a young age, we are all taught about people like Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks, and how these people really completely changed everything. Now, do not get me wrong. I am not in any way trying to discount the hard work and the amazing results of this work. But what I do need to start seeing people understand is that there is still so much work left to be done. The work that these past leaders put in, while important, was just a stepping stone on the path to unconditional love for everyone around the world. On this trip, we met many amazing people. The one I would like to start out with is Valda Harris Montgomery. She and her family lived just 2 houses down from the parsonage where Martin Luther King Jr. and his family were living. At the time, she did not realize just how incredible that was. She recalled many meetings in her upstairs area of the home, people coming in constantly to strategize. For her, this was everyday, normal life stuff. But take a second. Imagine, maybe not every day, but many days of your life, having people come to your home, think of a plan so that the people in your community could finally feel accepted. Imagine being constantly threatened and scared every night when you go to sleep, that you could be awoken by the sound of a bomb going off. This was not only her reality, but the reality of many others of those who lived during the Civil Rights era. I cannot even begin to understand how that must have really felt. I have lived an incredibly privileged life. Now, unlike many people I see, I feel I have a pretty good understanding of the inequalities that many people face. I have been lucky enough to have the family that I do to help me understand how much love there really is in this world. With learning this from them, I feel that I need to help others understand that love is so much more powerful and so much more worthy of our time than hate. After hearing stories like those of Valda, I find it so hard to believe that they have any positive view of the people in this world. But through talking with her and others on this trip, I have been truly inspired by just how much faith they have. I do not remember meeting anyone on this trip who said anything along the lines of thinking we are doomed as a society or that we are incapable of change. What I did find to be so important to me is that the many people we talk to think that these younger generations of today can truly unite the world and all of its people. One of the things that I felt on this trip was connectedness. There were many moments where I felt connected, not only to the present, but to the past. There were many moments where I felt connected to not only the life around me, but to the world. I wish that we could all feel this feeling all the time. When we got to walk across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, I felt a sense of walking with a purpose. As I imagined, the people who walked this bridge in the beginning of the march from Selma to Montgomery felt in a much greater sense. I felt like everyone from the 21st century were all there with us. We were all there as a connected unit. Now, I know, and I did know, that this is not reality. But it is something I truly believe can be. From talking with so many different people on this trip, I learned that if you can get a group together and work for one common goal, so much can be accomplished. The fight that these foot soldiers were fighting is not far off from the fight we are fighting today. A fight for love and equality for all. When I think about my life as a Christian, one of the things I value most is making sure everyone feels and knows that they are loved. What I have seen to be blocking the world and all of its people from this is the lack of acceptance, and I think this comes from the lack of understanding, and a lack of really listening to one another. When I recently listened to the song, Waiting on the World to Change, these lyrics really stood out to me. And when you trust your television, what you see is what you've got, because when they own the information, they can bend it all they want. Something I think everyone needs to work on is to take time and slow down. Take time to slow down and think about the things you hear. Think about the things you read. How one interprets or tells a story is very different from the next. What I am trying to do is start really listening to what people are telling me, and what the message they are trying to get across. To start understanding how people are feeling and why. What I have seen a lot with racial divides is people not listening to and acknowledging what others are saying and how they are feeling. Another thing that I have found to be very important is the way that people are communicating. I think now we are so focused on trying to be heard and seen, and it is being taken the wrong way or maybe being executed improperly. What I found to be so astonishing is the way that the fight for equality was handled in the past. They did not want violence. All they wanted was peace. They were not going to fight back. Many people went through nonviolence training, and if you were not able to stay calm and not fight back, you were told to stay away from the action. They didn't want society to see this as a war between races, rather as an act of trying to come together. And I think that is something that our society today could really learn a lot from. I've joked around saying that I will need a year before I can really talk about this amazing trip I have been a part of. I have learned and seen so much, and comprehending it all has been a very hard thing to do. I sat in the very chair Martin Luther King Jr. sat in, and I don't think I will ever be able to feel like that moment was 100% real. I'm not going to lie. I went on this trip feeling a little upset about missing things at home. But being home would have been nowhere near as impactful as this trip has been. The things I have learned will stay with me forever, and this trip has really helped me find who I am and who I want to be. I cannot wait to continue having my faith in love and promoting love everywhere I go, and seeing all of the amazing things that come out of it. This was the last post I made on the last day of our trip. I stated in this post that I was scared about missing home and missing everything there was at home. After reading that over, I felt that was pretty stupid. There is so much out there that needs to be done, and for these things to happen, we need to learn. Without going on this trip, I don't think I would be as passionate as I am today about finding equality for everyone. I feel empowered, and I feel like I am ready to help the world become the best place it can be, to focus on continual growth. When I was reading back on all of my posts, these are the words, are the ones that I really think summed up what the trip meant to me. All of the hate we see is nowhere near as powerful as love. If we come to love ourselves and everyone around us, life would be so much easier. Today, I really appreciate the life that I have, and I look forward to making it more and more important each and every day that I live. Each of us has a purpose. We need to choose love, not hate. I will leave you with the words that many have sung time and time again, and that we will sing in a minute. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.